You want a yearbook that's inclusive, right? I always had the philosophy of my yearbook staff should be inclusive as well. So I took anyone and everyone who wanted to be a part of it. And I really preached from the get-go, we are going to care about each other, we're going to support each other, and we're going to do something collectively that none of us could do individually. And building that team family mindset from the get-go was crucial. And it really changed my advising kind of trajectory when I kind of took on that philosophy in my third year, not worrying so much about the end product, but worrying about kids first. And then once that culture is established, you start attracting kids to this place because they just want to be a part of something and feel valued. And then the magical thing that happens is that culture can actually trickle out into your school community by you creating this inclusive piece of history that allows every kid to be a part of it and share their thoughts and ideas and stories with you. And yearbook programs can be game changers in schools by having an incredible culture and letting it trickle out.
Now, from time to time, I use the sports team analogy
Okay.
because I've had direct experience seeing good sports team culture, just a very positive culture. Boys
Mhm.
team, a girls team. It's like, man, kids can't wait to sign up for that coach's team and so on. Have you ever taken any ideas from like sports teams, either at your school or elsewhere, to use with your book?
Oh yeah. I'm a sports junkie. My dad was a high school educator for over 30 years and a three-sport coach. So grew up in that environment. And two of my biggest mentors are people I've never met, John Wooden and Mike Krzyzewski, but I've read all of their books. And they have leadership philosophies. John Wooden's was the Pyramid of Success. Coach K's was the Fist, and it all involved philosophies, mantras, aphorisms that built people up and created servant leadership amongst groups in which kids were looking to push each other ahead of themselves, deflect the spotlight, and eh, really embrace a selflessness and this attitude that I am out here for other people. So I really did take on that. I always told my staff, so we are a year-round sport. We don't have an off season. And I really did. And I stress this to advisors now, young advisors especially. Advising's different than teaching. And that was something I had to learn along the way because in a school environment, you're plopped down and you're different too. So you're not really teaching like everyone else. You're really giving the keys away to these kids. And that's another key to culture is empowering these kids. I tell advisors all the time, if I insult you with what I'm about to say, I mean to. But advisors shouldn't be picking fonts and colors and themes. Give that to the kids. Once advisors give their power away, their program just makes a turn for the better, and it does become this incredible place where kids are allowed to make decisions and lead. And that's the key to it all to me is giving them the power. And that's a philosophy I learned from John Wooden that great leaders lead to give their power away.
All right, now, Mitch, my observation, most yearbook advisors don't do that. All
Yeah,
right, it's like they're the
right.
dictator, and I hate to use that word, but there's no other word. They're the dictator. They make all the decisions. Again, there's that trust word again.
Right.
So somebody is listening to us thinking, yeah, that's what I'm kind of doing. I really don't want to do that. So maybe the Cliff Notes version for any advisor, how do they start to give the authority away to the kids to not only let them grow, but also take a lot of the stress and strain off of their own shoulders? How do you do that?
Exactly. And it is a process. Just like building partnerships with your administration, giving your power away is a process. So for young advisors, and when I started, I was walking side by side with my leadership team, really guiding and kind of doing with them. And slowly I would take steps back. And slowly, it became in about year 6, 7, when the bell rang, the editors were starting class. And then it was me just really in that advisor role, supporting them with materials, playing devil's advocate. I had a lot of conversations with leaders, with student editors. Those casual conversations when you're playing devil's advocate, when you're playing supporter, when you're playing mom or advisor, whatever hat you have on, those conversations are crucial. I don't think anything set us up for success more than our weekly editor meetings. So every Friday morning before school, my editorial board would meet for a half hour before school. And we would talk about the week that was, what went well, what didn't go well, who do we need to support more, who do we need to kick in the rear more. And let's look at the week ahead. What do we hope to accomplish? Who's going to be in charge of what? What resources and materials do you need from me? We left that meeting, our leadership team was galvanized. They were all on the same page and they presented this unified, organized front when they communicated to the staff then. So I think it's a process. I think you need to be there to support and kind of model for them. But slowly you start to give more and more to kids, which then makes your job easier. On my best days, I would get to go to my room and hang out with creative, passionate kids. On my worst days, my name was still called 50 times an hour and I was troubleshooting and putting out fires. But rarely was it me taking a photo, creating a design, writing a story. I never did any of those things, but I was there to help coach, model, and support kids doing it. Yeah, where else in a high school can a teacher advisor say, it's yours? Take it and do what you want with it. You're in charge. And really, that's all kids are wanting. And man, the skills they develop from this culture that you're establishing, they're all transferable skills. All these kids are doing is project management, and they're bettering their skills at communication, collaboration, critically thinking. And I mean, most of my kids, and I know I have some advisor friends who have the same stories. The kids come back and they say, Yearbook was the most valuable thing I did in high school because it was real and I'm using those skills today. And it's typically not in journalism, it's in different fields all across the place, from business to law to medicine to sales to really anything. These transferable skills are paramount.